The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
and this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Welcome to Bass number 557. Is that right?
Seems to be.
Yes, I believe that's correct. Yeah.
Close enough. Anyway, the boys are all here and we're ready to roll. So, what are we doing this week, fellas?
Well, Greg, I'd like to read a poem if I could.
Oh, by all means.
Yeah.
Would you like the music back to play behind
No,
it?
no, it's fine.
I was going to throw it on.
Everybody get up. It's time to slam now. We've got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance. Do your dance at the Space Jam.
At the Space
All right.
Jam. All right.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam if you want to jam.
So, has everyone seen the movie? I did not.
I did not know.
I have.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
It's you know how last week Zach and I talked a bit about Fast and Furious, and you could say that Fast and Furious is sort of, it's a guilty pleasure, right? It's it's not the best thing in the world, but if you can go and you can have fun. This is an anti-movie.
Look, I had heard nothing but people telling me how bad it was for a few days. So once I finally watched it last night, well, first of all, my girlfriend had never seen the original. So we watched that during the day, and then we watched Space Jam 2 in the evening. It's clearly not like anywhere close to the original movie by like any stretch. But it's not as bad as some people are making out to be. Like, for instance, the only other reference point I have is my godson. He's just turned 9. He's already watched the movie 3 times and apparently loves the stupid thing.
Children are dumb.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's a movie that is far too aware of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because the original Space Jam, it's fun. It's, hey, what if Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes played some basketball? Wouldn't that be fun? Hey, let's have the Looney Tunes do Looney Tunes things. And Michael Jordan, he might even get a little crazy too and stretch his arm out. And whoa, who are the Monstars? It's silly, but it's fun. This is Warner Brothers knowing exactly what it wants to do, and what it wants to market itself as, because that's what this is. It's a 2-hour commercial for Warner Brothers properties.
Yeah,
is HBO Max like really a big? I heard it's like basically commercial for HBO Max.
It basically is. So the original Space Jam was just the Looney Tunes, right? Michael Jordan plays basketball with the Looney Tunes.
And there's plenty of commercialism in it. I mean, there's the thing that always sticks out to me is when Michael Jordan's in the hotel room. And Wayne Knight comes in and is like, come on, Michael, strap up your Nikes, put on your Hanes, we'll grab a Big Mac on the way to the game. And it's like,
oh, yeah.
That one line is what this entire movie is.
Yeah,
for Warner Brothers properties.
This movie, it's not just the Looney Tunes. Like the whole middle portion of this movie is the Braun and Bugs Bunny jump to various Warner Brother properties.
Yeah. All the Looney Tunes have fled the Looney Tunes world and have inserted themselves into every other meaningful Warner Brothers property.
You got DC. They got
Harry Potter,
Mad Max,
Jones,
Harry Potter. Yeah,
Mad Max. Yeah.
So that was a question I had. I had read somewhere
Matrix,
where that basically they took the entire Warner Brothers catalog and tried to throw it into this movie. Like
basically, yes.
Then the crowd for the ultimate basketball game at the end of this film. While there's a plot where Don Cheadle's character Algae Rhythm, the algorithm of Warner Brothers Studios servers.
That name certainly took a late night session to come up with. Yeah,
totally agree.
He somehow sucks all LeBron James's social media followers into cyberspace that force them to watch this game to determine their fate, as well as the rest of the crowd is everybody from the Warner Brothers universe. So you have
every single the crowd
you Kong, see Iron Giant,
It, Pennywise from It is there.
White Walkers from Game of Thrones.
I even saw Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, when he's wearing the robe.
Yeah.
No way.
Yep.
Wow. They originally had the little gremlins from they had the actual gremlins, but they also had those creepy dudes from Clockwork Orange, but they took them out of the movie.
Wow. That's wow.
Yeah.
Some deep cuts. Yeah. You're going that's like Clockwork Orange is like what, from like 1970? Something like that. Yeah, way back. Wow.
I think when the movie lets the Looney Tunes do the Looney Tunes, and when LeBron finally gets the stick out of his ass, because that's the other thing about this movie, they made LeBron like really unlikable for the majority of the movie because he's supposed to be like the hard ass dad that wants the kid to stop playing the video games and we got to commit to basketball. And it's like, okay, but I know LeBron James loves to play basketball. Like there's fun to be had.
The plot of like maybe the first 20 minutes of this movie is middle school LeBron James missed a single shot in a basketball game, and his coach told him to stop playing a Game Boy, and so now LeBron James hates fun.
Game Boy. Yeah.
And so now LeBron James hates fun. That is the that's
LeBron is anti-fun. You got to work hard on the basketball court. No fun and games are to be had on a basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my understanding was that it has this whole like, you know what, I learned something today moment where he's like, son, you just need to be yourself and be like a computer hacksaw.
Yes.
Like everything I've read about it, and your descriptions definitely secure that for me. Is it reminds me of a movie from 10 odd years ago called Food Fight. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Yes. I've heard of it. Yes.
Okay, so essentially, it is a disaster of a movie that was supposed to be a kids flick full of products, but from like the grocery store. So there was Vlad Chakul, there was Polar Penguin and Cheezel T Weasel, and these other like D and F tier brand products. Mr. Clean, I think, was in there. The pickles bird thing. Anyway, it was this movie that was a fucking nightmare, full of celebrities, but it was just essentially a giant commercial. And that's what this sounds like to me. This sounds like a giant commercial.
It very much is that in a lot of ways. I would actually say, though, the plot to this movie, in so much as it has a plot, it's just Hook. Have you seen Hook?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you've seen the better version of this movie.
Yeah,
I love Hook.
Yeah, Hook's great.
Dad is too hard on the kid. The kid runs away to the evil temptress of whatever,
Don Cheadle.
And then the dad and the kid fight each other at the beginning of the ultimate climax. But then they realize what's the problem, and then the dad loves the son, and the son loves the dad, and they beat the villain.
Yeah.
That's too bad that you didn't see it, Andy. I had some reviews queued up here to see if you guys like how you agreed or disagreed with it, but they're about what you'd expect. Like one guy says, where is this? Words cannot describe how awesome that was. First off, I was wearing a Space Jam shirt to prove I'm a fan.
Oh, God.
It was like Ready Player One starring the Looney Tunes. Oh my God, I was so good to see Bugs in the squad.
I actually described this movie as Ready Player One without any redeeming qualities.
There you go.
Ready Player One even was like counterfeit feeling, just because it was
Ready Player One. The whole point of that, like, it's
a culture
using all that consumerism and all the products to like point out the problem with consumerism on all those products.
Well, in the book, maybe.
Right, but like, this has none of that. This is just stuff. It's like
the scene that's been going around in the Twitterverse with the is the Wile E. Coyote in Mad Max.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, which is kind of funny, but it's like
in a bubble.
It's hilarious if you watch it without sound.
And then, but the one that like really kind of made me groan was Froghorn Leghorn as Daenerys in Game of Thrones world. Like,
well, that's
who conceived of that?
Well, that is one of the key problems with this movie is that they want it both ways. Yeah. They want to make a movie with a shitload of adult references that people who saw the original will go like, oh, okay, yeah, fun, that's cool. Like they're making this for me, but they also want it to be this like weird kids movie that is absolutely, cringeworthy, and they try to have it both ways, and I'm probably going to watch it this week if I can like gird up my loins to endure it.
I mean if you have an HBO Max account, you might as well.
Here's another review. Nearly made me cry at scenes like this, and it's Porky Pig hugging the Tasmanian devil.
Well, Porky has
we're not doing any spoiler alerts on this, folks. So
there's a Porky Pig scene in this movie that if you haven't just given up on everything by that point, it will make you.
I'll just leave it out as the notorious PIG.
Yeah.
Right.
This movie. I kind of did the opposite thing that Zach did in that, like, I actually watched the original after I watched this one because like I came out of Space Jam 2 hating it, but I kind of had this like double take in my mind. It's like, am I being too hard on this? Like, is this any worse than the one that I remember liking as a kid? And if it's not worse than that, then then what's the harm? It's whatever. And then I went back and I watched the original, and the original is much more. It's crazy for a movie as kind of batshit as the original Space Jam is, but it is much more restrained.
Yeah. It's so much simpler than this movie is.
Yeah, it's so much simpler. Like, this one has like, I'm not even entirely sure what the villain's motivation in this movie. What, like, he wants to tempt LeBron James' son.
He wants to get LeBron's like body scan into the Warner Brothers serververse.
Yeah.
So that they can put LeBron into movies. All these various Warner Brothers properties. Because since Algae Rhythm thinks he's this greatest gift to mankind, but nobody recognizes who he is as this algorithm. So they want him to use LeBron's massive following and popularity to somehow shine a light on him, Algae Rhythm, as being so.
Great, yeah, but then like the whole thing is like, okay, if LeBron and the Toon Squad lose, then all of LeBron's social media followers will be trapped in the serververse.
Yes.
What does that gain Algae Rhythm? Like,
that gains Algae Rhythm a legion of people to lord over and worship him as their god.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I just, if I were stuck there, I'd just go to Harry Potter World and chill.
Yeah. Here's the problem. Like, when I was watching the movies back to back, it's so funny how they start the same exact way. By the way, the two movies. But in the original movie, there was at least some sort of relationship made with the adversaries in the actual basketball game. Like, I knew who the Monstars were, I knew what they wanted, and I didn't like them. They were the bad guys, and I wanted to beat the Monstars. The basketball team they play against is just kind of plopped in at the end.
Yeah,
like,
they're really not even.
They're in LeBron's kids' game, but they just kind of show up, and you're supposed to not like them because they're the bad guys.
They're basically like. They're basically just like, because like the Monstars in the original Space Jam are almost there from like the moment the plot gets going. So like you know
there's that whole subplot of them stealing Whereas the whole subplot of them stealing the NBA players' talent, and you want to get that back.
Whereas in this movie, like Algae Rhythm and his little, like, I guess computer sidekick are the only villains in this movie. I guess you could include the Bronze Kid as a quote unquote villain for a part of it, but no, literally, it's like, okay, it's time for the game, and then Algae-Redland's like, oh, by the way, here's my team, and
here's some digital facsimiles of Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Klay Thompson, Diana Taurasi, and the other girl. She's like a Nigerian player in the WNBA. I forget her name.
Yeah,
Ogumake, I think is her last name.
I want
Go
to
ahead.
this last review in before I forget, because I really liked this, and I thought this would be the conversation tonight, but it turns out it's not. Space Jam wasn't made for your old ass. You're looking for a Martin Scorsese film with Bugs Bunny playing the role of a point guard.
Well, look, I saw that tweet too, and I don't like that tweet either, because then that's just completely dismissing anybody's thought about the movie.
yeah.
And it's completely dismissing the fact that I like the original Space Jam, but this is not. If I had a kid and I wanted to show them a Space Jam, despite this being more modern and having a LeBron in it, like the Looney Tunes are better in the other movie. Like this movie's even the best when they let the Looney Tunes do the Looney Tunes, but there are like 30-minute periods of this movie where you don't hear or see Bugs Bunny.
Wow.
Like there were times when Bugs would show up back in the basketball game and was like, oh, I have not heard from Bugs freaking Bunny in quite some time. Like he would be important to have in the Looney Tunes basketball movie. But it's not a Looney Tunes basketball movie. It's a Warner Brothers Properties plus LeBron basketball movie.
Oh, and then the way you were describing the plot sounds really cynical. Like we need to get LeBron into all these Warner Brothers properties.
Right. And it thinks it's being really smart. But the problem is the thing that it thinks it's being really smart about is what the movie actually is. Like, hey, wouldn't it be really terrible if some company used a computer algorithm to force LeBron James into all these WB properties, and then the movie proceeds to force LeBron James through an algorithm into all these WB properties?
Yeah.
Were there any like scantily clad, anthropomorphized cartoon animals that are going to be exploited?
For some reason, they hired Zendaya to portray Lola Bunny.
Oh, why?
Lola is introduced as doing the Amazon trials from Wonder Woman.
Cool.
Yeah, no, there's the entire scene where they recruit Lola Bunny is basically just like, hey,
did you see Wonder Woman 84?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, well, it's the entire opening scene of Wonder Woman 84, just with Lola Bunny instead.
Cool.
Yeah.
You guys remember when
she's there? She's good at basketball. She's not as sexy as the first time.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Do you remember how people flipped out because they made Lola Bunny not as
sexy? Yeah.
I was trying to think of the proper word to describe, like her boobs were big. Yeah.
Yeah. They.
Yeah, she shows up wearing a sweatshirt.
Word I was looking for. Yeah, it's
the furries are all disappointed.
Who like spends time thinking about something like that? I'm serious.
The internet, sir. The internet.
Yeah, but
it's like the Milana Vaintrub or the AT&T girl thing where they can't make commercials with her anymore unless she's got like a giant sweater or behind a podium or something, because otherwise people on the internet just start brazenly masturbating. Won't leave her alone.
It's like all these people. It's like she has breasts. You can see them fucking all day long anywhere you want. Why are you so fixated on hers? I don't get it.
That was probably one of the funniest, I guess byproducts of this movie was just like the whole thing. Like, okay, so we're having a discourse on whether or not the cartoon rabbit is sexy enough.
Yeah. Oh my god! Yeah,
fantastic. This whole thing is it the worst thing that's ever been put to film? No. Is it a cynical?
It's always going to be cats.
Well, no, that's brilliant in its own ways. Is it just a giant WB HBO Max commercial? Probably. Am I ever going to watch this thing again? Not even a second. No. I'll probably watch Space Jam again before I die. I will not watch Space Jam 2 again.
Yeah, no. Space Jam, the original one, was far more endearing. And okay, so I guess going back to what Zach said about like LeBron having a stick up his ass, is that like I kind of I get that was the story that they were going for. You know, again, they're doing Hook, so you have to make, you know, LeBron.
His dad has to be a jerk.
He has to be a jerk, yeah. But there were times in this movie where LeBron will say a line and it'll cut, and then I'll go like, "Wow, that was the best take they got from him." Like,
Well,
the dude can't act.
When they're doing the whole recruiting scenes to like get the team together.
Yeah.
LeBron was actively pissing me off during that part of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you, LeBron. Let's get the Looney Tunes. And he's like, no, I want my team. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no. Of course, like when LeBron is thrown into a universe of fictional characters, he wants to build a super team.
Yeah,
well, of course.
Like he wants like Godzilla. No, he wants like King Kong and the Iron Giant and Superman. And it's like
Bugs Bunny literally says, "This ain't the Miami Heat, Doc."
And he also wants Kevin Durant because that's what Kevin Durant would do.
Kevin Durant tries to come into the movie and they don't let him.
Was there seriously a Kevin Durant cameo?
No. There was a single joke in this entire movie that actually made me laugh.
The cameo joke?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the one good line.
Yeah. It's a very good cameo that you should expect, but also not at the same time. So it's good.
Now there's this family movie like Clockwork Orange, Drugs.
The Droogs from Clockwork Orange, yeah.
That would be well. Okay, no, it's interesting that they would take Clockwork Orange out because, you know, it's not family friendly, but like they leave Pennywise from It in there.
Yeah,
right? It's like the clown that eats children. Like...
This is also the movie where they decided as like a Looney Tunes policy, no more Pepe Le Pew because he's too rapey.
You know what? That dude made me uncomfortable back when I was a kid. I mean,
Pepe Le Pew?
Yeah, he really did. It was like, wow, why don't you just like back off a little bit on this poor cat? And I'm talking, I mean, I was what, 10, 9, 8, somewhere in there. And it was like this. I never liked Pepe Le Pew. So those people were like, oh, it's PC culture run amok. It's like, no, that motherfucker was a rapist back in the 70s.
Also, in terms of Looney Tunes, they did my boy Marvin Martian dirty.
Yeah.
They just take his stuff.
Wait,
in the first movie, he gets to be the referee. In this one, he just kind of is like, yeah, they steal his ship, and then they hit him over the head a couple times. Like,
yeah, actually, the SB Nation actually did a fun video on the first Space Jam where they explained that Marvin the Martian is perfect to be the referee in the first movie because he's both a Looney Tune and an alien, so he's impartial.
Yeah,
or is he? Well, tune in next week for basically.
I mean, there was a lot of physical contact that wasn't called in the first.
Well, the funniest response I got from one of my friends was like, "Of course, LeBron James would try to build, you know, a super team. You know, Michael Jordan won his game with Bill Murray on his team, and you know, LeBron needs to try to get Superman."
Well, I have no plans on seeing it. I mean, if it ever pops up somewhere for free, I'll like go, okay, yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I have to say though, I think it was Andy. Was it you that sent the tweet of the Mad Max scene?
Yeah, I watched it silently and thought it was the only thing I really liked was the what was it? The thing he says. Witness me, that thing. Yeah.
He holds up the sign that says "Witness me." Yeah.
I kind of gave it a yuck. You know, I mean,
I thought it looked funny with the sound off, like because you had no fucking idea what was going on. I was just like, okay, this is kind of funny, but
well, you know, it's a Wile E. Coyote scene. You don't need the sound.
Yeah.
The article that Andy linked Space Jam to is a hell that only the undead know is it's hyperbolic, but. Once you peel away the hyperbolic nature of it, it's more or less right. It's just like this is cynical. This is basically a commercial. But like, I don't know. Like, there's this the whole plot about like, oh, the Looney Tunes have left the Looney Tune world to, you know, go off into these other properties. Is basically just a sad excuse to be like, oh, well, LeBron James can't just show up on the Looney Tune world and recruit a team. Like, he needs to go visit all of the other properties. And it's...
Well, and the thing about it, too, was like, they're basically the whole conceit there was that them admitting that the Looney Tunes aren't relevant.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, isn't that the point of the movie? That we know who the Looney Tunes are?
Yeah, like that's that was the whole draw of the first movie, right? It's like, hey, Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan, like,
yeah.
Wow.
And they've done an effort to like make the Looney Tunes relevant again. They have all those new Looney Tunes shows on HBO Max where they inexplicably give Bugs Bunny yellow gloves.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
That's a throwback, I thought.
He had it in his original appearance, but like that's 5% of all Bugs Bunny appearances have him with yellow gloves. He literally wears them, I think, between 1 and 3 times. And
which is hilarious because the Bugs Bunny in this movie is your standard Bugs Bunny design, so they didn't even bring
until they bring that really bad 3D in. For the
game. At the end where they make all of the Looney Tunes like 3-dimensional and it's upsetting.
They look like stiff animatronics. It was weird.
Yeah.
Well,
really weird.
The reanimated corpse of Bugs Bunny given unholy like life or something, like it's not it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
The drogues were there apparently.
Yeah.
I thought that there was like blowback from them being in the trailer, so I thought they were removed. Or
I did not see. I was looking for them and I missed them. So whatever. Yeah. I don't know. It's Space Jam 2. It's the plot of Hook stretched over this giant commercial, and my opinion is that if you want a fun Space Jam movie that's made for kids, the first one is infinitely better, and you should just watch that.
Yeah, and it's not like it's terribly out of date. Like, yeah, there's some 90s-isms to it, and maybe the kids don't know who Bill Murray is, but
hey, that new Ghostbusters movie is coming out, and he's going to be in it, so there you go.
Yeah, well.
Really?
Yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Oh,
We'll see on that one. I'll believe it's good the second I leave the theater and say that was good. Otherwise, I'm assuming it's going to be trash.
That's one of the list of movies that, because of all the COVID delays, I'm not actually convinced it's ever going to come out. But
no, it'll certainly come out.
It will at some point, I'm sure. But it's like once it does, I'll be like, oh right, that was supposed to.
All I'm going to say, and maybe this will be controversial, it can't be worse than that 2016 one, which was a crap fest.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with that they were women.
It was just a crappy movie.
It was just very bad.
I remember when I know we're getting off topic here, but I know that I remember when the script for the 2016 Ghostbusters leaked, and some guy, it wasn't even, so somebody read the entire script before, like during production, and posted this big summary online. He's like, I have read the script. Let me tell you the key scenes of this piece of shit movie. And as this person was writing them out, I read them in shock and horror. Just like, this can't be real. This reads like a parody.
Yeah.
And then
no, it turned out to just be like I remember reading that too, and then not believing it, and then going to watch the movie and seeing everything play out exactly as he had written it. And
you guys ever wonder how? I mean, somebody has to along the way approve this stuff, right? What is the executive thinking that goes, yeah, this
money,
let's go.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
But you get like that first weekend, and once the reviews, and not the reviews from the critics, but like the people, especially in this day and age of social media and all that, you can sink fast. I mean, I just don't understand that. It's like, man, I've seen a lot of movies like that where I go, wow, somebody approved this. Like, how did this happen? But
by the way, the last kind of note on Space Jam. The other thing that the original will have over the sequel forever and did from the time it started, the soundtrack to the original Space Jam.
Much better.
Absolutely slaps. I can't tell you a single song from this movie last night. Like, when you're watching the original Space Jam, they do the little Michael Jordan scene where he's like, I'm going to be an NBA player. And then they play his career highlights. And over that, they play the Space Jam theme. And you are ready to fucking go. They play the I Believe I Can Fly when he's doing the kid scene. Then they play the Space Jam theme, and again, you're just ready to go. This movie, I don't I don't know what the theme they played over the credits was. I don't know. But
So
I can name at least 5 songs from the original Space Jam soundtrack. I can't name you a thing.
Rolling Stone has a review of the Space Jam original soundtrack. The title of the article is Space Jam: A New Legacy original soundtrack is an insult to children. And the writer says, it genuinely matters that we make good art for kids. The things that I watched as a kid made me have opinions about what I was watching and want to discuss them with my friends. It made me dream. Nobody who writes about this soundtrack wants it to be bad, but something for kids shouldn't be this manufactured. It goes on and on. But yeah.
The original Space Jam soundtrack peaked at number 2 on the Billboard chart.
I mean, when I was a kid, I had the CD of the original Space Jam soundtrack
with Bugs Bunny and MJ on the cover.
Yep.
Half and half. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, listen to like "Fly Like an Eagle." Everybody knows that from Seal. "I Believe I Can Fly." R. Kelly, great.
Slam Jam.
The Space Jam.
Yeah.
You know that song, the Hit 'Em High Monstars anthem. You can
Fly Like an Eagle, Fly Like an
Eagle.
Dude, that Seal did a remake of that.
And in fact, if you
but you know what I mean.
The fun thing about the original Space Jam theme is that apparently it goes with everything. It's actually a thing on YouTube, mashups of the Space Jam theme with other pieces of music.
I bet Seal did a killer job on that tune.
So if you ever wanted to hear what the original Space Jam theme sounded like mashed up with the Pacific Rim theme, you can go right ahead.
I love mashups. I just love them. I mostly watch like Metallica mashed up with the Bee Gees and shit like that. But I'm just gonna.
But like okay, I'm kind of I'm trying not to be hyperbolic, but like I could see like in the future at some point, like this movie is going to be pointed to in like a film studies class about like the detriments of commercialization in film. Like maybe not as the worst example. I'm sure there are worse examples out there, but this is it's not good.
It's a lot. It's a scoop of ice cream that has every flavor. And
therefore you don't know what it tastes like, and you probably don't like it.
From the sounds of it, every flavor, including like turkey and gravy and steak and A1 sauce and all of it.
If it's something somebody likes, cram it into this fucking thing and dish it out. I will get around to watching it, and I'll probably live text you guys as I'm suffering through it, just to endure.
The movie we were talking about a movie a couple of weeks ago. I said we need to do a live watch of it like this. Like we will watch it as
the Kurt Warner movie.
Oh, the Kurt Warner movie. God, that could be fun.
I saw those screenshots. Like that's not Kurt Warner. Like they couldn't find an actor who looked even remotely like him.
You couldn't find iron-on numbers that were big enough to actually represent the actual jerseys. Come on,
couldn't find some Rams throwback jerseys on the They exist. I assure you.
You could probably go to the team store right now and buy them.
There's a guy here in Southern California that makes his own replica throwback jerseys for people. They cost a pretty penny, but he makes them pretty accurately. I just assumed that they didn't want to pay anybody for this thing.
Wow, yeah, it was. Who was it? Dennis Quaid's playing Dick Vermeil.
Dennis Quaid's Dick Vermeil, and Zachary Levi is Kurt Warner. Anna Paquin, I believe, is Kurt Warner's wife.
And isn't it? It's one of those Christian movies, right?
That's the thing. So when I started looking into this movie, once like you guys shared the link, I was like, this thing looks like a piece of shit. Why does it look so bad? And then you find out it's like made by all the disciples of the Lord. They've come together to film this with a budget of $80 and a costume budget of even less. The wardrobe budget for this movie is fucked. Because I mean, like it is laughable. The jersey that he's wearing during his just in some of these stills and these scenes as a ram, it is fucking laughable. The detail is so completely abandoned for the uniform, and obviously that's coming from a bunch of uniform nerds. But it is, even by those standards, it is just god awful because the Rams use fucking block. Back then they didn't use any weird like proprietary font. It was just block. And it looks like shit.
I got to be honest.
Distributed by Lionsgate, which is like a real company. But then like you dig one layer deeper, the production company is called Kingdom Story, and they released I Still Believe last year. This year you have American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story. And then TBA productions for Jesus Revolution, Apostles: Resurrection of Christ, and The Drummer Boy.
I just want to go back to Anna Paquin playing his wife. I can't wait to see her rocking that Johnny Unitas haircut. That's gonna be
there was one of the stills was with that haircut, I thought.
So the question of where like the Kurt Warner and the Rams, I guess dominance was ended by Tom Brady and the Patriots. Are they going to make Brady the devil? Like,
no, they're gonna win the Super Bowl, and that's the end of the movie.
Well, I don't want to knock it because it's Christian. Because it's good quality.
No, but you've seen
this is going to be fucking terrible. Yeah,
you've seen the trailers for all these like Christian values movies, and it's like they're all what they are.
The production looks like a Hallmark holiday movie, like that level of quality. Yeah. Like I'm really hoping though they really go like as deep as possible with like the final scene, like where Eddie, who's the running back for the who made the catch? Was it Eddie George who stopped 1 yard short? Kevin Dyson.
Kevin Dyson, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So Dyson has the ball and he's about to cross the threshold to score. Kurt Warner kneels and prays to God. The light comes down and shines onto Mike Jones, and Mike Jones runs and like he leaps a little bit farther. It's like Angels at the outfield where an angel comes down and pushes him a little bit further to make the tackle.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Kurt Warner has to raise the Lombardi trophy, but he says, hold on. And it's like this one's for John, but he leans over and just off camera, the hand of Christ comes and takes the Lombardi trophy and holds it up in the air.
We are all going straight to hell.
Yeah, it is funny that you mentioned that because I hadn't thought about it that way. The Kurt Warner movie is good. The climactic moment of the Kurt Warner movie is going to be him standing on the sideline.
Yeah, as another player wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he'll be handed the trophy. He'll hold the Lombardi trophy, and then it'll freeze frame, and then the roll credits. We've already seen.
But they have the scenes of him in the grocery store. They have the scenes of him in the Arena League.
There's a good story to be told there, but I just don't believe that they're going to have the budget to get the good writers involved. I mean, you could actually make it a good story because he's an interesting story.
He is.
But this is not the way to go.
Well, I imagine. Sorry, I keep interrupting you, Greg. I feel like an asshole.
Sorry, don't worry about it. Go ahead.
So I'm guessing, and this is just my suggestion, that Kurt Warner. I mean, he's been very, very outward about his faith for a long, long time. And I would imagine that he is probably partnered in some fashion with these production companies because the idea is, I'm not making a movie for everybody about my story. I want this to be shared around churches and all this stuff around the country, people of faith, to show that you can accomplish anything. It's not a commercial thing. I'm not looking to make a lot of money with a sports flick. I'm just trying to put out an inspiring story for kids of my faith. And in that regard, sure, that's cool. You do whatever sounds good to you. But from a movie perspective, ugh.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Though, like, let's say for a second that you are a person that this movie could influence one way or the other.
Yeah.
But you also happen to have a little bit of a discerning eye for art. So you go, well, I know Kurt Warner. Let me watch this. And you go, this is fucking horrible. And sorry, I can't buy into this. I mean, to me, it just seems like if you're going to do the Kurt Warner story, and I think there's a movie to be made there. But not like this. You've got you got Anna Paquin, Dennis Quaid. I mean, those are fairly decent names. But I promise you, the writing is going to be horrible. We've already seen what they've done with the attention to detail with the uniforms. That's going to be the problem with it. Kirk Cameron.
Oh, geez.
That's all you need to know right there. That's it. Yeah, and if that's true, I don't know. Gary might be just making a joke there. I'm not sure, but I like this idea from Chaos Blast. We should get a list of sports movies for you guys to do commentaries over. That would be fun.
Sure.
I don't know how we'd get around the.
Well, usually what they do, and the idea
it's like a commentary track.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So what there are online, there are a lot of people who what they'll do is they'll say, press play on your DVD player or whatever. 3, 2, 1, something like that, to where essentially the audio from the movie will not be overlaid or anything. You might hear it slightly in the background, but for the most part, it's just people.
We absolutely should do that once in a while. I think that would be fun.
That'd be a cool idea. I'd be down.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, there's our. Unless you guys got more about movies you want to talk about.
All right, maybe later, but not right now.
I just want to close out by saying that you can do a non-Hollywood Christian-based show because there's a thing called The Chosen out there, and I'm not a religious guy, but this thing's really well done. I watched the first season. It was outstanding. And it was all crowdfunded. It was all that. And they did a really good job. They got good actors, solid performance, good writing, the whole thing. So it can be done. It's not going to be done with the Kurt Warner movie. That's my point. But let's move along.
Speaking of the Rams, though, we did have a new jersey available last week.
Pull that up here.
And a new hoodie that Zach and I disagree on.
Let's see.
As far as the jersey goes, the Rams unveiled their alternate. It is a white, quote unquote, modern throwback to those white jerseys that they won the Super Bowl in.
Modern throw. There's no such thing.
It's basically just the trappings of the current look with like the numbers and the horn on the sleeves, with the yellow sleeve cap and the blue horn to make it look like the old jerseys. I think it's a waste of an alternate uniform. Like, it's good. It's just what the road uniform should be.
Yeah. I was going to say that's the
it almost seems like when they unveiled their uniforms, like when Nike designed their current uniforms, they had the home, road, and bone alternates, and then at some point someone's like, what if we made the bone the road? Wouldn't that be crazy?
Well, because if somebody pointed it out that in the in that video that they released when they unveiled this whole new look for the first time, 2 years ago now, that in the sketches that they had, like, for all the options they were going to look at, this was on the piece of paper, like, that was in focus. So it's like, this was there, and they decided to make it the alternate. And like the pictures that they have of this jersey over the yellow pants, it's like that is what this team should look like. Like, get rid of, like, my new fixes, get rid of the bone jersey altogether, get rid of the gradient on the home numbers, and then you've got the perfect modern Rams look. I still hate the stupid horn.
The helmet's
like,
gotta be fixed, yeah.
I can get around the rest of it because, like, that's what they look like. Color blocking wise, that is what this team needs to look like on a weekly basis.
These would be fine. I mean, I don't know that I'd put them in the top 5 or anything, but it's a much, much better look than what they're going with right now. And this would have been a primary road uniform. Do they have blue pants? I think they do, right?
They do, yes.
They do, but they said that they're not gonna wear them with these jerseys, apparently. So,
but yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, go with an updated look of the old classic Rams throwbacks. That's it. That's all you needed to do. Like Dennis said, call it the "Was That So Hard" uniform. I think that's a great example of that.
I think these uniforms really display, going back to something Zach said, just how unnecessary the gradient is, because these uniforms, these new ones, as far as I can tell, don't have it at all, and it looks so much cleaner.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have the weird, like, rubber lines.
I still don't like that at all. Like, I don't know what the point of that.
I can forgive that. Forgive that.
You just kind of not notice it after a while. It's not one of those things that just sticks out and you go, oh, wow. No, that's a fine look. And I don't know what they.
And the thing about it too is that they already announced that they're going to have, like, a new alternate uniform over the next 2 years as well.
It's going to be black.
It sure is.
But it's like, but again, what I'm saying is this is an entire waste of an alternate jersey. Now, if this had been flipped, and the first alternate was the all bone look, I wouldn't like the bone look, but I think it would be a little bit more acceptable. Of, like, they tried an alternate, it doesn't work, whatever. But the fact that they're bringing these out for what may only be 1 year, like, depending on how the alternate schedules work, I think that's a waste. Like, these are good. When it comes to current Rams merchandise that I want to purchase, I actually want to buy this jersey, because the other thing is this doesn't have the LA logo anywhere except on the inside of the collar. So there it's like, I don't even see it, because the logo that's on the actual outside of the collar is the Ram head.
Well, I wanted to actually bring that up, Zach, since you said, modern Rams merchandise. It seems that in the last year or so, they've really leaned into the Ram head, and they've pretty much given up on the LA mark.
The LA mark is in those places where it needs to officially be, like, there's still plenty of the generic, like, workout merchandise that has it on there. and it is in places. They still sell hats with it on it and all that, but the majority of the new merchandise that has come out over the last year has been Ram head focused, which I applaud as a course correction that they can make midstream. So they've listened and they're doing what we want to a degree. So that's.
I want to address this question from Chaos Blast really quick because this was my thing for years with the Rams, with the blue and white, and I thought it would be the best move they could possibly make. I love the old blue and white uniforms, but in this day and age, with the better television, better photography, better all of it, they just don't work. I mean, we saw kind of a variation of them with what the Rams went with before they changed. Remember when they were wearing like the white helmet horns, the white mask, and all that? I for some reason it just needs to look like dingier and darker, and I just don't think. I mean, I would love to see them try it, but I just don't think it would work. So they probably will at some point, but it was just my thing. I was like, oh, the blue and whites, and then I saw it kind of in action, and I went, oh, that really doesn't fly now.
And now that we're going to get the 2 helmet rule going next year, I would, it wouldn't surprise me in the least to have either the dark navy helmet so they could do the proper throwbacks, or what I kind of fear is that a white helmet with blue horns could be.
Boy.
Well, wasn't there a shot from some Rams office where they had white helmets of gold horns?
Right, and that was because the other thing, right? But in that same videos where we thought we had the white jersey leak, and it was a white jersey, but it wasn't like the design of it was completely off.
Yeah,
from what it ended
which
up
was
being.
Clearly probably some sort of prototype or something.
Either a prototype or just some generic thing they had made up because it was some rookie at his agent's office like signing merch to be sold.
Yeah.
So who knows where the hell they got those things from. But
I like it. The new look. It's fine.
Yeah, it looks good. I hope that as the years go by here with this new Rams look that they do, as you said, and that they just, year by year sculpt it into something that, seems, I don't want to say timeless, but seems good.
Yeah.
Seems very acceptable. And it doesn't need to be huge touches, but every little bit counts.
Yeah, like I think this is that huge first step. The only issue is that because of the way the production lines work, the main thing they need to change is the gradient number on the home, and I just don't know if we're ever going to get that taken away just because of how that stuff works.
I think they'll drop that.
I do know that you're allowed to make tweaks to a uniform like within the 5-year rule.
But does that include a full number? Because
that's the thing I don't know.
Jerseys, right?
The closest I know is that the Chargers at one point changed their nameplates on their Navy jerseys. They went from white nameplates to gold nameplates, and they were able to do that. I don't know if a full number revamp would be.
I can do that.
The Dolphins did a full color change. They
dropped the blue. They dropped the navy.
They switched. Not only did they drop the navy, they switched to a darker, richer teal and a stronger orange.
More orange into it too, right?
It's like a corally orange.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just say with the gradients, with the home uniforms, just put some more ink in the screen printing machine, and you're done. You don't have to worry about it. This is not a big change to make there, really. I don't know.
The font can stay. I mean, I like the font personally quite a bit. I don't even mind the little weird little shiny dealies in it. It's pretty good. It's unique, and but yeah, the gradient sucks, and they should be punished for that. No,
the only thing about these jerseys that I don't know if I love is how the yellow is on the entire sleeve cuff.
I like that actually.
Yeah,
I like it on the sleeve cap, but then when it extends past the blue horns, it looks a little odd to me. But maybe it'll look different, when they're outside.
Gary says, in a corporate insurance dolphin. That is very much what that logo is.
Yep, exactly. That or a cruise line. I always say a cruise line.
Yeah, like the toothpaste dolphin, whatever people call it.
Welcome to Dolphin World.
These jerseys will be worn in the season opener against the Bears.
Game.
They'll be worn at home against the Tennessee Titans, throwback to the Super Bowl.
And
then they'll also be worn on the road at the 49ers when they wear their red throwbacks as well. So that'll be a halfway decent look.
We're like 2 years away from the NFL becoming the new nothing means anything anymore universe realm.
Yep.
It's all this whatever.
Like what's happening in baseball, what's happening in basketball, It's going to happen in football, and it's going to suck because football does not have nearly enough games to justify all of the uniforms. So
Well, that's why they will add more games, Mike. You see?
Oh, no.
That's right. We're going to 17 games this year, aren't we?
That's still not enough.
The biggest season ever.
Oh my god! Wait till you see the DL say, I don't know, by week 15, if we do 17 games. It's going to be horrible.
But I think the downside of that, though, is you'll have players retiring significantly earlier. You'll have guys retire when they're 25, 26 years old.
Right, especially if they're making some of that sweet college money before they even get here.
They're like, fuck this. I've got Chick-fil-A money from my college contract.
Yeah, we're what are we? A couple weeks away? Not even a couple weeks. Like next week, training camp starts, right?
End of this month. Yeah, they're all starting to start. Yep.
Wow,
pretty cool.
I keep looking at the schedule because I have the high school football season on the way. So like my summer has been much shorter because high school football season starts August 20th, and then regular football, college football starts 2 weeks after that, and
sounds right.
And then the NFL, and we're right back into the
football
loop of regularly scheduled sports programming.
Yeah.
I do have. I don't know if you want to do it now or wait. I do have some fellow kids.
Oh, well, let's do it.
All righty.
Here we go.
Is this in honor of yeet being added to the dictionary?
Certainly can be. Certainly can be.
I think that we need to come up with an intro to this, but we'll work on that down.
Yeah, no, I'll cobble something together here at some point. Now that my work is slowing down a little bit. All right, so let us begin. Here's the first. Select the window. Here we go. So this is our first one. It is a modified Vespa made to look like a tank.
That's bussin'.
That's absolutely bussin'. Yeah, I don't know how you steer it though with the gun.
I mean, I don't know how you ride it necessarily. I think you straddle the gun. I guess that's the seat back here.
It's the seat, or yeah, but with the barrel of the gun coming through the front of the whatever the shield or whatever that is. I don't know how you could turn. Well, I guess if the handlebars were independent,
it looks like the shield is connected, but it looks like the wheel. Column.
You're right. Yeah,
so that's independent.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be so fucking heavy though that I think. Michael Walker says I could use that driving in San Antonio. Yeah, I mean, this would be really satisfying to just blast a pile of traffic out of the way.
I would have to imagine the recoil on that isn't good for the rider.
No. That would you'd go further backwards, I think, than you probably want to. You'd have to stop first, like put down the kickstand like he's got here in the picture. Then load her up and fire. But after that, you can take right off again. Then it says too modern.
Too modern. This is number 2. This is just a really cool shower head thing. And it's got a little propeller on it, but look at this shit.
Oh, that's totally bussin'.
That's bussin'.
All over that. Yeah, that is way cool.
I love a good multi-function shower head.
Yeah, that's absolutely bussin'.
I say the only problem I could see with it is maybe if it's noisy or if it really kills the water pressure.
I don't give a shit.
Propel that water all over me.
We're in a drought. You should save water. Bullshit. I'm going to take a 20-minute shower.
I'm using a shower head here, and I'm going to waste like 200 gallons of water. Fuck you. Okay.
Number 3 is we have a bass guitar that was made from a chair.
No.
That's going to be a yeet.
That's a yeet. Yeah.
That's highly impractical.
Yeah. No.
I mean, it was actually played on stage and used. It works.
But why?
Because I think the guy's a guitar tech. It's called the Rockin' Chair. So
no, that's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me pull the next one here. This would be number 4. This is something I threw together. So we are officially 65 days away from fall. What do you guys think? I love fall. I can't wait for fall.
That's bussin'.
It's bussin' to a point. It's bussin' until it gets fucking cold out, and then it's like, okay, right back to spring.
Yeah, when it dips to like 68, 67.
Oof. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's okay. I'll be back.
Sorry, Zach. I know you're really cold. 67 degrees. Whatever. All right, next one here. We have a bastard.
That's a big yikes.
I imagine I'm trying to debate internally whether or not it is satire, because clearly the hot dog is high. I mean, he's
Yeah. And see, the hot dogs looks like he's having a great time. He's smiling, he's dabbing, he's,
But
Yeah, sure.
I like that it's also a hot dog. Like, what significance does the I'm guessing it was clip art of that somebody found where it was just a fucking hot dog dabbing, and they're like, oh yeah, put it against the clouds or whatever. And that's
I don't. There's way too many levels here to get into in one show, but yeah, that's funny.
okay. Moving on.
Hot dog is absolutely stoned for sure, no question.
Definitely stone, absolutely, 100%. Here's this true neck beard.
Oh, that's a big yikes.
Yeah,
big yikks.
I'm almost impressed with it, honestly. Like it's it's the amount of time and patience it must have taken to.
Yeah, but at some point he had to go, this isn't a good idea, and he never did that. So sorry, that's just
he apparently has no one that loves him enough to tell him that it's a bad idea either.
Clearly unmarried. Yeah.
Next time, fuck stick.
Unless he's like a not an Amish, but what are they called?
Mennonite.
Yeah,
Amish. Where they have the beards without the mustache. The like the Merlin. What's the show?
He's
Merlin
pushing the edge of Mennonite fashion.
Yeah.
I'd say what I think it is interesting is this guy could totally eat like a bunch of like lobster and crab legs. Like he's one of those dudes who's always at the seafood places where the aprons are. He's like he just waves them away. It's like, don't worry, I got it right here.
You know what else? You can shoplift pretty easy with that bitch too, man. Just slide shit right under there.
Like, you just steal necklaces all day long,
right?
Renowned diamond necklaces. Now this
practical application here after all.
This next one is an older story, but I just read about it the other day and thought it was kind of interesting and sad. So you can actually in Japan you can have these weddings.
Oh, that's a big yikes.
Definitely.
Because is it Japan or is it China where I think there's actually more women or more men than women?
China because of the one child policy. They have a desperate shortage of women.
Right.
So there's a bunch of single males that are doing stuff like that where they're marrying cartoon characters. And yes, this is a Japanese one, but I just remember seeing a story where Chinese men, there's more of them than women, and they literally just
I watched a
very inanimate objects.
Really good documentary on the one-child policy a while during the pandemic. I don't remember where I saw it, but it was excellent. Where they really went in depth on the whole thing, and it's created a crazy imbalance between men and women over there in China. Yeah, it's nuts.
It's a social experiment on the largest level, and it's a little weird.
But hey, now they can have up to 3 kids.
Yay! And moving on, we got a couple more left. This one's just a cool dog. She's got a little bow.
Bussing all the way.
Bussing.
Can't say no to a awesome pupper.
You already knew what my answer was going to be on that.
Bussing.
Yeah.
Just to break things up, give a little levity. You know.
Yeah, she's a beauty.
Good pattern.
Yeah.
I love a dog with eyebrows. It's good.
I love. Very nice. Anyway, this one's a uniform related one. Saw this earlier today. The Milwaukee Admirals faux with their alternate uniform. I think this thing is awesome myself.
Bussing all the way.
On that, yeah.
I can't believe we're still using vintage white in this day and age, but there they are.
I mean,
doing it.
Look at all this. It is an objectively superior everything.
I think all the Milwaukee Admiral logos are good. I like the skeleton one.
You like the skeleton one?
I particularly like the just where it's the head, not with the word mark.
The historical logos. I want to see which one.
Okay, now of the skeleton Milwaukee Admirals, I prefer the first one because at least the first one's got some whimsy to it.
Yeah,
that's super weird.
Yeah.
He's selling drugs.
Well, I just remember in the NHL games, I kind of scroll through all the minor league jerseys to see if there's anything cool. And their jerseys of that period, it was dark black with that very light blue, and they were tastefully done. I like those.
Yeah, no, the current Admiral's skull uniform look is just trying too hard.
It's brandiose looking. Just looks generic in its quality.
I don't think these guys were in the old IHL Iron League, were they? Back in the day of the Gold Diggers and all that. But there was I thought they were being called.
Says they were established as the Milwaukee Wings
in the USL.
They played in the USHL before joining the
International League in
League
'77.
Yeah.
And 70, okay, maybe they did. Who am I thinking of? Did they used to have a jersey that had like a captain's wheel on it? Or am I imagining?
I think some of their jerseys have had that on there.
But yeah, no, the new uniform is nice. I can agree that the vintage white is probably overdone. They don't need to do that, and it would look better.
The vintage white is a base like that.
Right.
It looks gross.
It would look better if it was just if it was a straight white. But in and of itself, I like the design. I love that new like faux back logo. It's great. Like,
yeah, I would totally own one of these.
Way better than what they're using right now, I think, for sure.
And kind of in line with that, we've got the.
I got one more. Hold on, we're not quite done. Unless it's related directly to this.
Well, I was going to talk about the Abbotsford Canucks.
No, we can talk about that in a minute because I had that pulled up too.
This won't take long. Yeah, so we got one more. Last thing.
You're right, Chaos Blast. You're right. It was Peoria Rivermen. Never mind. Sorry, he's brought up a point about the jersey. Oh my God.
What?
Oh.
Last one.
No, yeet. Yeet.
That's
spam.
Yeah, it's back when.
I
mean, I would try this.
No.
Spam peaches. I think it'd be really kind of tasty, honestly. I mean, considering what they usually made back then with their weird spam and mayo and hot dogs shit they'd throw together in these magazines.
I honestly can't believe spam is still as widely used as it is today. Like,
it seems like something that's such a product of the 70s. Like, how did it survive?
I was at Costco on
Sunday. That, man.
Costco, like a pretty modern place where you get things in large quantities, and sure enough, there's pallets of spam next to the meat aisle, and it's like,
you really want to make spam sell really well? Sell it like in a container, like a third the size of the one we saw in the ad there, where you can only get about a sandwich out of it because that's all you're ever going to want anyway. You're not going to want any more after that. Just that'd be it.
Isn't it like? Is it Hawaii that really loves spam?
Yeah, Hawaii loves spam.
It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just something that you don't want to eat a lot of.
Well, do you guys like bologna?
Yeah.
Not
like
really.
Hot dogs?
I like hot dogs.
Okay. I mean, I feel like spam is really not that far off.
That different. No, it's not that far off. No.
I can't do canned meat.
If you fry it up, this is reminds me of a story my dad used to tell about catching carp fish. You could eat them, but anyway, you fry it up like with breakfast. You fry it, like really put a nice, like fry it to the point where you can see where it's starting to darken around the edges. It's not bad with breakfast food. It makes a decent sandwich. But yeah, it's not something that you want to eat like every day.
Yeah, you don't buy spam to make gourmet stuff.
No, it's just it's a goof mostly.
Yeah.
I could have taken it all the way and said you fry it up and then you like put it on a board and then you throw away the spam and eat the board. But yeah.
So
all right.
There's the link for Abbotsford, as Mike brought up.
Yeah. So the Abbotsford Canucks are going with Johnny Canuck as the primary logo, which long time coming.
Yeah, but I think personally for me, seeing it on the actual jerseys that they have made here for the owners and whatever, all it does is back up to me that Johnny Canuck on its own is not a jersey crest.
I like it. I don't know.
He needs some sort of anchoring element like the skating penguin in the triangle.
I'm willing to see how it looks like on players and not like overweight old people. Like,
I don't know. I like Johnny Canuck. I kind of like what they did flipping the Vancouver V upside down. So
yeah, that was really clever.
That's pretty cool.
There's a jersey for you to look at. There you go.
I don't know if I like it on the front without some sort of element to give it some, I don't know, some spatial recognition. I don't know.
I mean, the obvious solution would be to put him in front of some sort of A or V, I guess.
Yeah, I think the V. I don't know. I think because even though he's a cartoon, he almost seems like there's too much going on for it to be a primary jersey crest.
Well, this is the modern version. There is a cleaner, older version that, hypothetically they could go with.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a good look at a whole bunch
of you. But you like it, Mike?
I do. I think Johnny Canuck is I think he's probably the best logo this team's ever had, and they just refuse to use him. but you look at the Orca, which has at best is just sort of middling. The spaghetti skate, which has a lot of nostalgia attached to it, but like it's just a skate.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, it was it was the stick and rink. It's just a hockey stick in a hockey rink. I think that when you look at Johnny Canuck is kind of the. I mean, he's the closest they've ever had to something that actually represents the team name.
There's your answer right there.
They should put him in a roundel.
Everything's better in a roundel.
Look, I think he's a much better primary logo than the whale, the sea whale that the Canucks use.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like him as a jersey crest. I've always liked the one where it's like the V with his head in the middle of it, like the alternate logo that the Canucks have, where it's like, I know some people say it looks like his head's getting chopped off by scissors or something.
Oh, who cares? That's fun.
But I think it just looks more bold as a jersey crest than Skating Johnny does. Skating Johnny's a great primary logo, but not a great crest logo.
The best place for Johnny Canuck is on like the pant, on the short. I feel like that's like the ideal place for him, or on maybe even a shoulder. I just don't as a primary. It just I don't know. I feel like it doesn't necessarily work, but that's always been a problem with the Canucks. They've never made the perfect logo for themselves, and they try to have it all the different ways all the time, and it's never really resulted in a great look. Just a bunch of pretty. I think
their problem is that they keep changing their mind. If they had the stick and rink since the beginning, we wouldn't question it all that much. If they had stuck with the skate, we probably still wouldn't think too hard about it. But then the fact that we've gotten two different versions of the whale logo, and now we're introducing the Johnny Canuck as alternates, and it's like they have 700 things going on.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, and so that's also one of the reasons why kind of going to your Ducks, Zach, why people put forward the idea. It's like, oh, well, maybe the Ducks should come up with like a new color scheme. It's like, no, the team already has like a historic color scheme, and then the one they have now, like you don't want a third unrelated color scheme, because then you're venturing into Canucks territory. You don't want to be there.
Yeah, and based on rumblings that I understand, it seems like if the Ducks do ever make changes, it will be bringing back the classic logo, but with the black and orange staying.
Just it's all right. Like I've seen, like they've had a few alternates to that effect, and they look nice.
Just basing it off the orange alternate and then making a black and white version, I think is clearly the way to go. I don't know if they ever will, and well, they'll do that, and then an alternate will always be available to do in the Eggplant and Jade. Like, because I think we're just gonna live with the two schemes, black and orange being the main primary, and then the not teal. God. Catch my breath, not teal. Jade and Eggplant.
The duck police are almost got called there.
I'm the one that usually sounds the siren, because teal is the Sharks and Jade is the Ducks. It's a very
no. And we're uniform nerds, so we can tell you there is a difference.
Oh, yes, huge difference. Huge.
One is greener than the other, and the other is more blue.
If you can't see that, then there's no hope for you. Boy, I feel.
Well, except for that one period where the Sharks just switched to the Eagles green for some reason.
Yeah,
and they're weird.
Other hockey jersey stuff. This is only tangentially related to the NHL, but the Portland Winterhawks.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
They have a new look.
Yeah, they do. And Zach hates the logo so much that
you know what I realized? We haven't heard the Garbage People yet.
No, they were there earlier.
Were they? Okay, I was thinking maybe the Garbage People had cut the internet off, but
sorry, I pressed the wrong button.
Oh, we thought you hated the new logo so much.
I hate this so much. I'm not even going to talk about it.
On the StreamYard window, there's comments, private chat, right. And my cursor kind of dragged up, and I hit log in, which anyway, Portland Winterhawks. They for years were just wearing Blackhawks clones with the Indian head and all, and so I think it's just kind of noteworthy that they've gone away from the Indian head to make a what I think is a very proud looking eagle logo.
Do you have this, Andy, or you want me to throw it up?
Yeah, here we go. Sorry.
All right.
I'm just staring in disdain at this stupid fucking logo, and I'll share my thoughts in a little bit.
So Andy does not like the logo. Okay.
So okay, my take on the logo is I think actually, Andy, you said this on the CCSLC that it looks like something that someone had like CAD in their concepts folder on their computer that they just dragged out for this. I definitely get that vibe from it. That being said, I would like this a lot more without the mountains. I think the mountain, I get what they're going for with the mountains. I really do, but I think that it's just a step too far.
I agree with Mike on that. I do not like the mountains either.
This whole thing is shit.
Did they wear straight up just Blackhawks jerseys?
I think
the logo was ever so slightly different, but they were.
It was a white guy. It looked like a white guy wearing Indian makeup. I mean, because it was.
I think
what it used to look like.
I think the big change. Was that they had a P logo.
Yeah, the P with the cross tomahawk.
Yeah, instead of the C.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I think we have it in the in the archives here at the mothership. I'm pulling it up.
But like I'm kind of in the middle when it comes to the new logo. I think it's a good Indian. I think it's a good eagle hawk logo. It's just the mountains, man. Like it's just too far. They were trying too hard for symbolism.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I agree with that completely. As far as if you're gonna go, I'm assuming they're replacing the Native American head with this, right?
Yeah, that's all going on.
Yeah.
So if you've got to do that,
well, it is interesting. I wanted to talk about that because we've touched on it a few times on the show, especially with Andy being a Blackhawks fan. That the Blackhawks kind of not entirely insulated, but they do seem to have. They're not really put under the same scrutiny as, say, Cleveland Indians or the Washington, soccer workforce. Yeah, but I just want to, and unless I've missed something, it doesn't seem like this. Like the Winterhawks have not come out and said, oh, we don't want to have a native depiction as a logo. They basically just said, like, the way that they're framing it is
we
like
wanted our own identity.
Basically,
that's fair. I mean, I'm fine with that. I just, I
think it's a convenient way of getting away from any sort of criticism. I think where it's basically, yes, they were using a copy of the Blackhawks, and so now they can say, well, as the owner said here. We are proud to finally have an identity we call our own. We are appreciative of the assistance we received prior to our inaugural season that allowed us to begin our tenure in Portland, but now it is time to have our own identity that we can be proud of. So I guess the Blackhawks helped the Winterhawks exist 45 years ago, and so as a tribute to them, they kept it.
Well, okay, so the Portland Winterhawks, despite being an American team, are in the CHL, the Canadian Junior League, and currently, junior teams do not have NHL affiliates, but they used to. For example, that's why Kitchener has the Kitchener Rangers, and you see a few of these teams still around in the in the CHL and the Junior League, and it's basically just remnants of a time when the Junior League had NHL affiliation.
Well, I guess that's not actually right, Mike. According to the mothership story. The Portland Winterhawks joined the Western League in '76, and with an immediate need of team uniforms, accepted a donation of used sweaters from the Chicago Blackhawks, and then just never changed.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Get the best jersey in the NHL. Might as well hang with it, right?
They were literally wearing Chicago Blackhawks uniforms.
Yeah,
just to start, and they just kept it. So
yeah, it's shit. There's no. I know that that's a lowbrow.
No,
but I
man.
mean, like this is stock. Everything about this is stock and haphazardly thrown together with bottom dollar interest in mind. The gold gradient is shit. That is just an objectively garbage decision. The mountains. All this is 10 minutes with the fucking pen tool just making some fucking shapes. And then this happens, this whole WH thing, completely unintentional. Don't take credit for it, you fucking liars. You didn't design this. This was just some, 18-year-old in the fucking Photoshop, because this was in somebody's folder from like 10 years ago, and they paid $100 for it. Had somebody look, could you put some like feathers or something on there? And so they put these. It's shit. It's a generic and boring. And in the thread, somebody was mentioning, well, I thought it was a pretty good logo. I mean, it may be generic, but it's a good logo. No, this. There's nothing original or unique about this. Like, to me, there are a million ways to design a bird, and this is the like laziest and shittiest way to do it. Like, there are awesome ways to design a flat and interesting bird design that have nothing to do with Native American imagery or like trying to, do some subdued messaging or whatever. Nope. Here's this angry, pissed off bird who has the look of like somebody who's like watching his neighbor go get into his mailbox or something. He's kind of like what the fuck are you doing? And then you have this piece of shit, which this is just garbage. I mean, you have a shitty. It's supposed to be a banner, I assume.
Yes,
but it's like they didn't know how to finish it, so they just said fuck it and just left it there. And then but it has no depth. And then you have this P, which has a fucking golden gradient. And then you have this stick, which for some reason has shading on the same part of the stick. It's just a fucking mess. It's all a mess. It's all cheap crap. I'm not going to applaud them because they like, oh, you did the right thing about Native American imagery. It's like, this is not even about that. They just did a shitty job designing this. All around, it's a bad design. I'm not going to fucking applaud it.
There you go.
And then Chaos Blast says, "Be glad it's not an angry bird with a hockey stick." Man, I would take a fucking angry bird with a hockey stick any day of the week. Give me an animal holding. Well, it depends. It depends. If it was like an old school, like the Milwaukee Bucks, like spinning the basketball, I would totally take that 1,000,000 times over this bullshit.
I agree. I agree with 100%. That would be way more fun. And if you're gonna.
I don't want to look at this.
I don't know why we're not allowed to have fun anymore, of course, with logos. Why everything has to be fierce looking and come on.
Well, it's a minor league too. It's not even
Exactly.
I'm not saying they need to be the Portland.
It's a junior league team with a lot of history that wants to hold itself up as some sort of
so like we've got a
serious brand,
an East Coast Hockey League team here, the Toledo Walleye. It's a fucking angry walleye with a hockey stick. It's perfect,
and that's fine. I mean, I'm sure like you can always be scrutinous of making. Like, there's this design preferences when it comes to certain things that I don't like. To me, what's interesting about a bird or any species of bird, a falcon, an eagle, whatever, you have these feathers, wings. Like, you have the shape of a bird is incredibly cool. And there's a lot you could do with it, especially if you have a letter like, I don't know, W in the name, that you could do all sorts of cool shit to make it look interesting and unique. But nobody wanted to try. They just put together some sloppy shit. They gave it a $200 budget in a week. Somebody put it together, and now it's going to be the brand for the next 20 years. Great job.
I didn't realize you had such a thought on this, Andy.
Well, it's just fucking insulting, man. Like, I get so pissed off when design firms or whatever these brands, like, I would kill to work for the Portland Winterhawks. I'd kill to be a part of a hockey thing, or any sports organization, because when it comes to branding is just like it's just like anything else that involves the arts. It's given like a shoestring budget, a shitty deadline, and then they just garbage in, garbage out, and it sucks because design is so infused with legacy. And I know it's a minor league team, and it's nothing burger CHL team or whatever, but they like,
how dare you,
just
sir?
have some fucking self-respect. Have some self-respect and some dignity. Jesus Christ, like, stop approving this shit. Winterhawks, you fucking blew it. I'm sorry. It also pisses me off because, like, if this does well, if it sells, the Blackhawks are going to be like, oh well, thank God the Winterhawks they got that bullshit stupid bird look going, and now we can just make our logo some generic grandiose horse shit, and they're going to flush it all away. So I hope this is not a harbinger for the end of the Blackhawks brand, esteemed though it is.
I'm wondering if we can replace the mountains with a Chicago skyline.
Oh,
There you go.
I gotta go.
Right?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Maybe the Blackhawks will spend as much money on that as they are on the investigation.
Oh,
You know.
Zach always uses the encouraging word. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, there's, that actually wouldn't be a bad thing if they did do a shitty bullshit logo or redesign, and like all these details came out about them. I'd feel it'd be a lot easier of a transition for me to just like pack up and move on, because if they've, I don't want to be associated with a team whose logo is like a weird 3D bee and, is rife with sexual assault misconduct. So, yeah.
The other hockey news of the week to discuss, I guess, is by this time on Wednesday.
Oh yeah,
there will be a Seattle Kraken roster.
They
can go fuck themselves is what they can do.
Wow, they're not even a franchise yet.
No, because it's the same bullshit rule. It's the same bullshit draft rules that made Vegas a fucking super team.
Yes, it's the same. There's a lot of the same going on in that. Yes, it's all the same rules, but you think some of these NHL GMs would have learned a lesson?
No, they wouldn't because they're dumb.
And to a degree, they have to a degree, and only that. So far, we haven't had any dumb trades giving them 30 goal scorers quite yet.
Yes.
There's still time.
But the Montreal Canadiens made a calculated gamble that they may lose out on.
Yeah, they left Carey Price exposed.
They had Carey Price waive his no-move clause with the idea that, one, his contract would be so exorbitant. It's he still has 5 years left with $10.5 million per on those 5 years, and I guess there's some question about his health going forward that they may even have to put him on the long-term injured reserve at least to open next season. But as each day goes by, it sounds like Seattle is willing to pay those prices because Carey Price is from British Columbia, which, if you don't know, is pretty next to Seattle,
right up the road.
And he played his junior hockey in Washington State, and he spends his summers in Washington State. So this is a guy that could be there on day one, be a big name, sell a lot of jerseys, and he just went to the Stanley Cup final as a goaltender. So Montreal may lose out on one of their franchise players because they took a gamble and they may lose.
When you put all that together, it sounds more like they're calling it a gamble, although they're kind of hoping that it's actually what happens. I mean, how can you look at all that and go, well, you know what? We'll take our chances. They won't want Carey Price. Come on.
I mean, who the hell? Maybe the Canadians know something that no one else does, and like Carey Price's bones are 3 months away from just turning to glass.
Which again is like he just played in the Cup final like a week ago.
Yeah.
If he's not good enough to play next season, did you not know that 14 days ago?
Yeah.
I think that's weird. If it's a health thing, it's pretty convenient that would be the case because they're also set to, I guess Shea Weber is probably going to have to start next year on long-term injured reserve too, and all of a sudden Montreal's saving a whole bunch of money.
Shea Weber is old, so
yeah. Well, that one makes sense.
Well, wouldn't the allotted cap for Price have to be pretty significant for them?
Well, they have an entirely blank cap to play with, right?
Well, they still have to play under the cap, though. I mean, I feel like depending on who else you draft, that might be a pretty steep price compared to
and
yes, a few of other priorities.
It's $83 million on the cap, and he would get $10 million of that. So that's a lot for sure. But there's a lot of the way that the expansion draft rules work out, they can build a pretty good team at a pretty good price. And a playoff team year one. Like, there's going to be a lot. Like, they're probably going to get Yanni Gourde from Tampa.
That's why this whole thing. That's why this whole thing's bullshit. Because we saw this with Vegas. And we're going to see it again with Seattle. Like, the team is just like, oh, here, have a playoff contender, ready to go. Like, God forbid they make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, like in their first year, like the like the Golden Knights did. This is just.
Well, that's the thing.
It's frustrating.
I feel like Seattle has a better built-in market for a hockey team. Vegas was more of we need to make a splash right now. We need to go ahead and bring in some guys who are older, we need to win, at least make a consistent playoff push for the first years of our existence, because otherwise this market may drop very quickly.
I agree with you on that, but I think the thing that the Kraken are racing against is the return of the Supersonics.
Yep.
That's why they need to get good quickly, because if they don't establish a fan base and then they're competing against the Supersonics 2.0, they'll be in tough shape.
So basically, when the Timberwolves move.
So the for this expansion draft, they're going to have a floating stage, I guess.
Go fuck yourself, Kraken. Hate all of this.
Like a floating
also going to have
on Puget Sound or something, or
I think so. I thought.
I hope it springs a leak.
They're going to have some
which could happen, because this is the NHL, so that could happen.
Some celebrities that will announce picks include Seattle Storm guard Sue Bird, Seattle Sounders forward Jordan Morris, Seattle Seahawks linebacker Bobby Wagner, Marshawn Lynch, Seattle Mariners outfielder Kyle Lewis, and Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, as well as Lenny Wilkins.
Russell Wilson is going to be there?
First off, right, exactly. But what about like Dave Grohl
or will Russell Wilson be driving by the day of the draft, see it, slip into his tuxedo, and then just walk
show up
stage?
and have an envelope just handy? Put a name in.
And of course, they will do things at the Seattle Aquarium, Mount Rainier, the Space Needle, Space Needle,
it's Mike's Noodle.
And of course, the NHL's like content guy confirmed that they will do something at Pike Place, and they will throw a fish. So,
okay,
good for them.
That on Wednesday. Well, ESPN's first return to hockey broadcast with the expansion draft. That's fun.
There you go.
ESPN 2 on Wednesday for all those interested.
All right.
For our baseball fans, by the way, there's two very competitive. I just wanted to just mention this before it's timely. The Red Sox are up 11-0 over Toronto in the third, and the Nationals are up 10-0 on the Marlins in going into the fifth. So competitive baseball, very close games here.
I just want to point out that, have you guys seen what's happened to Garrett Cole since the whole sticky substance thing happened? He went from like Bob Gibson's ERA to what my ERA would be if I was pitching in Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, I know they were mentioning like his spin rate has gone colossally down or something like that.
And isn't that substance supposed to help with spin rate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, he threw a shutout the other day.
Oh, did he? Well, maybe it was just I don't know. You know what? I wish I could sit here and tell you that I'm paying attention to baseball, but I really couldn't give a fuck. I got to be honest.
That's where we're at, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't want to watch a spreadsheet come to life. I couldn't care less about spin rate or launch angle or any of this other fucking bullshit that you've ruined my game with, and these shifts and all the other bullshit. I saw 3 runs scored the other day on a bunt down the third baseline because first off, there was like only one guy there to play it, and he flipped it out of. Thought it was foul. It was Cubs, Andy, I think actually, or no Mets. I think that's the Mets. But fuck baseball. I didn't even watch the All-Star game. First time, I can't remember how long. I didn't see it.
There was literally a defensive shift in the All-Star game that prevented a hit from Shohei Ohtani. So
yeah, fuck it. Just fuck the whole thing until you fix it. Move the mound back 2 feet. And it's my turn to go on a rant here. Move the mound back 2 fucking feet. Let guys start hitting again. And, keep your fucking shits. I don't care.
Also, hit clock.
Yeah, pitching clock for sure.
Pitch clock.
I mean, but fuck all this. It's just, it's no fun to watch. I'd really go watch a fucking beer league softball game down the street at the ballpark there. At least that's exciting. Fuck you, baseball. Thank you. That's all I got to say.
I think the most egregious thing baseball did in the last week was the All-Star game jerseys. I mean, we talked about.
Oh my god,
yeah.
But in practice, they were even worse than I could have anticipated. Like the all blue, they look like the American League looked like mechanics with the all navy blue jumpsuit. Like it was pretty bad.
What was his name in Major League? Lou Brown.
Yeah,
the Lou Brown special, the Lou Brown tribute uniforms. No, baseball's. I'm sorry. I had to look it up to see who was even in first place. I had no idea. I was pretty sure the White Sox were pretty good, and that was about it. I was astonished to find out the Giants are in first place. That's wild.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
the Dodgers and the Padres.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing how good all three California teams in the American League are this year, or the National League, I should say. Jeez.
Good Lord.
Look
But
at
they-
that.
I think
Jesus.
they're all three of those teams have been buoyed by the fact that the Rockies sold off everything they own, and then the Diamondbacks decided to have like the worst season of all time. They lost like 33 road games in a row at some point. The D-backs. So.
Yeah, no, the D-backs, are they still on? Are they still on pace to break the 62 Mets record?
They're currently 27-68 with a winning percentage of 284.
Those fucking uniforms are terrible. Sorry, Zach.
They're 32 and a half games behind the Giants for first.
I just don't know how anybody can watch it. I mean, and look, I think that if you listen to the show for the last however many years it's been, you'll know that I'm not some anti-baseball person. It used to be my favorite sport. It's not anymore. It's almost unwatchable at this point. It's just home runs, strikeouts. Every once in a while you get like a crazy game. And then I saw somebody somebody got beat 24-8. I was like, what, they go for 2 with their last possession? What? I don't get it. And then you got people getting shot outside of the Nationals games. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, who needs all this? I don't need it.
Yeah, I didn't really.
I think this baseball season has been more entertaining than you're giving it credit. But
maybe I should watch some of it to find out.
I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Jack and I we have switched positions here on this matter. It seems.
Look, I'm not saying that it's great or anything. I catch a lot of the highlights of everything else, and I've been paying attention to the Angels more than I have in any year in the last.
Otani's fun. I mean, that's great. Yeah.
That helps. Having Shohei Ohtani on the team makes it infinitely more exciting. And like, I don't know, they're 46-46. They're 9 games out of first place.
Trout comes back. The pitching's been a little bit better. I know a little bit more than I thought, but Trout comes back. The pitching's not great, but it's been better than it was. You never know.
Yeah.
The shooting, by the way, was not. It was not a according to Hoyle. Yeah, not a mass shooting. Like, I'm going to go to the Nationals game with a AR-15.
No, I know.
It was. They don't even all they've really said is that they knew law enforcement was aware of the people that were involved in the shooting. They're not usual suspects, and it was just it was just kind of a thing that happened near the ballpark.
Happened to happen at the ballpark. Yeah, I know it wasn't like I'm going to go to the Nationals game with my whatever and shoot the place up. But
right.
Like I told you guys, though, it's like I'm not even surprised by this anymore. It's just like, well, of course, it's just the whole thing. But anyway,
so to transition into other stuff, the Olympics start this weekend.
Oh, fun!
Really?
Baseball, softball, and soccer actually start playing on Wednesday, and then the opening ceremonies are Friday.
Are there no fans at the opening ceremonies either? Right?
No fans. I don't even know if they're letting the athletes go to the opening ceremony, to be perfectly honest.
Wow.
Because I know like some of the athletes aren't even there. Like I was able to interview this girl that's going to compete in the heptathlon because she lives around here. And what she was saying is that with the athletes, they can only arrive like a week before their competition starts. And then once the competition is over, they have to leave within 48 hours. So not the entire roster of everyone's Olympic team will not be there on opening day. They will certainly not be there for the closing ceremonies. So.
I'd almost rather, if they had to go to all this again, just wait till next year. Really? I mean, what the hell's the difference at this point?
I mean, they can't. They can't.
I guess it can't hold it up forever. You're right about that, but
it's there's too much training and planning. It's one of those things to where I think that part of the Olympics that is is lost in the mix for most people is that these athletes have been literally for the better part of 4 years at least have been training
almost 5 now
to become masters of whatever perfectionists. And so if you even delayed it like a week, it would screw things up. But if you delayed it like a fucking year and change, a lot can be messed up, and a lot of their routines and lives can be changed.
I agree. It's just a shame that we've got everything like fans everywhere else, and we lost them on this, which is, I mean, I'm not a big Olympics fan, but I just don't know that I would find it nearly as enjoyable watching it played out like it was being played last summer. You know,
if these games were being held, in anywhere in the Western world, there'd be fans. And I'm not saying that as like a strike against Asia or anything, but just it's different cultures.
Yeah,
and like,
I agree.
And in Tokyo, I know that they're still having a little bit of trouble dealing with it over there. I thought I heard where it's been harder for them to get the vaccination rates up in Japan.
Well, you know, and another thing too, that you think of a city like Tokyo. I mean, the population density there is insane.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is going to be tougher for them to get it under control. And I understand that. And I don't know, Mike, go out and steal some fucking vaccines so we can have fans at the Olympics. Get Canada on the case.
Hey, I mean, we're all fully vaccinated. We can go to Canada in like a week, 2 weeks. So that's exciting.
What was I going to say? Gary brought this up too. The cardboard beds at the Olympics.
They've kind of slightly debunked that. I mean, first of all, there was a video put out of one of the athletes, a gymnast, jumping on the bed because they were saying like, just a show. You know, you could totally fuck on one of these. But I mean, you're also
I
like
love how they were described as anti-sex beds. Those are
right. But I mean,
shit.
We're talking about like some of the most flexible and athletic people in the world. They will find a way.
They'll figure it out for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, aren't they like because the other story of the games that everyone fixates on is always the condom distribution.
Right.
I thought they were limiting that in like an attempt to like discourage people from having sex, but I don't
know. No, life finds a way.
If they're going to go for it, they're going to go for it. There's no way around that. It's
human evolution over however many thousands of years has shown we will have sex with one another. You know,
yes.
There is nothing that will stop the train.
And if human history or anything else, we will do this in the weirdest fucking way possible.
Dennis LMU, and the condoms are for quote souvenir purposes. Yes, a souvenir.
Here's a 24 pack.
Your commemorative
24 souvenirs. Give them to your friends and family. It's a great time.
I was in the Olympics here. I brought you something back.
Well, it's just the wrapper. Okay, well.
When it comes to the summer games, there's an incredible amount of events that happen during the Summer Olympics. So it's hard, like there's no way to like take them all in or anything. But do you have any specific favorites of the summer games?
I like the pole vault a lot. What else? I mean, obviously basketball, but we're gonna wipe the floor whenever we play.
For me, on the weirder end of things, like because in the Winter Olympics we have curling, and we all love curling, and
greatest sport.
We stand hard for curling, and we love watching it, as well as like I love luge and bobsled and weird stuff that we don't get to see all. In the summer games, my two sports that I make appointments to watch are fencing, and handball. Have you ever watched team handball at the Olympics?
I have not, but I color me interested. That does sound.
It's like a mix of basketball, dodgeball, and soccer. Where like you run with the ball in your hand and you can bounce it around like a basketball, but you throw it like you would a dodgeball, and there's a guy standing in soccer nets trying to defend it.
Wow.
I think it's 5-on-5. It looks like the world's greatest sport that America isn't good at. And it's like, why? Like, could you imagine if we took all the guys that are on the Olympic basketball team and instead said, hey, we're gonna pay your NBA salaries and all that for 4 years, and we're gonna make you the best handball team in the world. I think we'd kick their ass. That's just my thought.
I like the pole vault. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that are kind of cool.
Let's see. We've got.
I love like uneven bars. Those are always kick ass.
Yeah, those are kind of fun too. Yeah,
gymnastics.
I agree. Yeah,
I mean gymnastics, track, swimming. Those are all the the marquee events.
Traditional.
Swimming bores me to death. I don't know why. I don't care about it.
Skateboarding should be pretty cool.
Skateboarding is coming into the Olympics as well as surfing. 3-on-3 basketball is new this year as well. So that's an interesting wrinkle.
Trampoline. I want.
Yeah, that's a good one too, Dennis. I agree. I would watch
archery. Yeah, for sure. I would totally. It depends. It depends on the presentation. Sport climbing should be cool.
That's brand new as well. Yeah.
Sport climbing. Interesting.
It's literally rock climbing. It's a rock climbing race.
I mean, sure. It sounds good to me. I mean, equestrian will probably be mindlessly kind of dull.
That is the one that just like turns me off every time I see it. Just like, no.
Honey, grab the caviar and the Grey Poupon. I want to watch the equestrian Olympics.
Canoe slalom is pretty crazy because they set up like those rapids and they have to slalom through them on a canoe.
Shit, I'll check that out. Anything that can end in disaster, I kind of like. So that would be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
There should be a competition for the Olympics where each country that's participating nominates their biggest man, and they have a tournament, or they just have a big room where they just beat the shit out of each other, and whoever's the last one standing, just tough man kind of thing, or have them do stuff like break cinder blocks over their head or something,
right? Yeah,
just like the brawn competition or something, I don't know, just something bit more made for TV. Or even like American Ninja Warrior stuff. I'm surprised they haven't integrated some sort of
those crazy Japanese game shows too. They should have integrated that into the Olympics this year. That would have been pretty funny.
If you could make a sophisticated-ish kind of relay like that, I think that would be really not only incredible television, but also, just make for really good just demonstrations of athleticism and grace, but. Well, to each their own, I suppose. But either way, I'm looking forward to it. I've missed the Olympics. Every time it comes and goes, I always think like, man, like this is nice. I like when they're on.
The real problem for us though is that because it's an Eastern Hemisphere Olympics, the start times are not good for us. Like everything will be available like for the first time, like. We can stream all this stuff, like all of it's available on Peacock for free, except for men's basketball, which you have to pay for. But I'm trying to find like the actual time schedule.
Wait, do you have to pay extra on like I pay for Peacock so I have to have commercials and all that?
Yeah.
Do you have to pay for basketball on top of that?
No, if you pay on Peacock, then you don't have to pay for the basketball.
All right.
But everything is free through Peacock except for the basketball, which you would have to pay for if you don't already pay for Peacock Premium.
Oh yeah, boy. Yeah, so it looks like for some of these CDT, what is CDT? Is that let's see where that
Central
is.
Daylight Time? No.
So Central Standard Time, yeah. So it would be Central Daylight Time, I guess is what it is. But yeah, so it would be, I don't know, according to this, 7 p.m. But then that's for the opening. That's for the opening stuff for Thursday.
That is tape delayed, so it's
otherwise it's 5 a.m., 5:25 a.m.
I'll be missing a whole lot of the Olympics.
5 a.m., 6 a.m. Like, whew.
Most of it from the sounds of things.
Well, they kind of split it up, it seems like, because it's either on really early in the morning or like after dinner, late evening. Slightly manageable, honestly, but we'll see.
We'll check it out. Like I said, it's going to be weird not having the fans, but some of it will be okay without them, but other parts it's going to be kind of strange. We'll have to just wait and see how it plays. But yeah. All right.
Well,
you got anything else?
Oh, the Bucks might win the title here in a couple days. Once the Suns can steal one here, and
I think now that Giannis is back, that pretty much settles it. I believe.
Yeah, that dunk was a backbreaker. That one took the spirit.
Yeah,
but
that'll be the first title since what, 71?
That was like 74, something like that.
There, yeah, when Kareem was there, the only title they ever won, as far as I know.
Yeah, well, something we can discuss next week. The winner will be decided one way or the other by next week's show. So.
Yeah, again, I haven't paid too much attention to that series, but I was able to see the end of the last game, and the Bucks have been impressive when I've seen them since they've turned it around. Like you said, now that Giannis has found his form again, it's like even if the Suns have to play pretty perfect to shut him down and to get across. So
Was it? We're coming up on Game 6, right? That'll be. Is that in Phoenix or is that in Milwaukee?
That's in Milwaukee.
Ooh, that's going to be a big hill to climb. Big hill to climb for the Suns. Yeah. Well, we'll find out next week. And we got football coming up. I can't believe football's almost here. We will actually be in training camp, close to it anyway, by next week, right?
Yeah, we'll have some preseason games to talk about here before too long at all. It's going to be back. Football, baby. Yeah.
Da 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 da.
We can see what career-ending injuries Tom Brady will play through for an entire season next year.
Right. Exactly.
Training camp, for the first time ever, there will be a unified start date for NFL training camps, July 27th.
Is Aaron Rodgers still telling the Packers to go fuck themselves?
Seems that way.
As far as we know, yeah.
That's a week from tomorrow, I believe, Zach. Yeah.
We never got your feelings on that, Greg.
What's that?
Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
You know what? Nothing I can do about it, so I'm not really going to worry about it.
You can't give Aaron a call as the owner and try to hash this out?
No, oddly, they won't give me his phone number. I don't know why.
I keep asking.
I read this wrong. So there is a unified start date, except for the Cowboys and Steelers who will play in the Hall of Fame game. The Hall of Fame game is on August 5th. So the Cowboys and Steelers get to report to camp as early as the 21st, which is Wednesday. So here we are.
I used to have tickets to that Hall of Fame game, but you have to rebuy them every year. Yeah, I went to it. I went when the Browns came back in '99. I went to that, and then the next year it was like 49ers, Patriots, I think. And I was like, I don't give a fuck about either one of these teams, so I sold the tickets off. But anyway, yeah. So football coming back. That'll be fun.
Yep, almost there, baby.
Almost.
Coming back. So before you know it, we'll be fucking sick of it again. But until then.
I mean, I'm looking forward to Jags Titans on Thursday, aren't you guys?
Yeah, well, always, yeah. Mark that one down. We already know what's going to happen.
We get to see the continuing deterioration of the Houston Texans as
whatever became of Deshaun Watson. Is he
he's still around, I guess. I don't I haven't been paying too much attention to him, but yeah.
We'll get into all that.
Yeah. It's a larger conversation. So.
Yeah, we'll get into all the football stuff coming up. But if we've got nothing else, boys, we'll wrap it up for this week. And
that's fine.
All right, then.
Sounds good.
We will see you all next time. Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, and the YouTubes, and wherever fine podcasting is sold. We'll see you all next time.
Later.
Laters.
Bye-bye.